So I had my undergraduate degree in the University of Cape Coast
Sharp.
from the Department of Theatre and Film Studies.
Yeah.
And then from UCC, of course, my first degree was from UCC, and then my secondary school was from Tuhum Tech. I read general arts, and then straight to the University of Cape Coast. So that's from my background. I received prophecies that, what is it called? Pursue your master's degree, but where do I start from? What kind of school am I applying to? And then the school fees was around 9 billion, I think. Yeah, so who is going to pay that amount of money? Yeah. Maybe I lost the scholarship or I wasn't shortlisted for the scholarship. I called my mother on phone, I was like, I didn't make it. She's like, there is more to do in Ghana. I don't know why you're so concerned and you want to move outside the country. When she said that, I was like, this woman doesn't understand my name. So that was it for me. I decided not to tell her anything about my education. Never again. Yeah, so that was it. I made the short list for the admission. That was for the admission, but the scholarship was a government scholarship. I didn't need the government scholarship.
Eric, welcome.
A boy.
Welcome. Yeah, Charlie.
Thank you.
So tell us a bit about yourself. You can make it brief. Anything that we need to know, you can tell us about it.
Right. Yeah. So, of course, I'm Eric Isiedu, and Selwyn is my friend way back from university. Yeah. I think we met in level 100. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the friendship officially started in level 200. Yeah. So I had my undergraduate degree in the University of Cape Coast.
Sharp.
From the Department of Theatre and Film Studies.
Yeah.
And then from UCC, of course, my first degree was from UCC, and then my secondary school was from Tuhum Tech. I read general arts, and then straight to the University of Cape Coast. So that is for my background.
And way back in Ghana, where did you reside? Tell us a bit about that. Yeah.
Right. So before my undergrad, I was staying with my mother. Of course, my parents at Tema, precisely Tema Newtown. So I'm a Tema Newtown boy.
Yeah.
And then when I came to university, I think after university, I moved from, after national service, I moved from, Tema to Ashaiman. And then after university, I had my national service with my department. So I was a teaching assistant. And then after teaching assistant, in fact, after my first degree, I decided not to further, because I wanted to make money. And so it wasn't part of my plan to start education immediately. So after I completed, I went back home, and then I decided to leave my parents, and I moved to Ashaiman. I was staying with a friend. I stayed with him throughout the COVID. I wanted to come to the US, I think, in 2019, but because of financial challenges, I had to relax and then work. Yeah, that's right after the national service. Yeah, so I decided to search for work. I went to Social Ghana, an advertising agency, to work with them. I went through the interview. I was shortlisted. I was part of the final 3, but COVID-19 struck, and then I had to just sit down and wait. And then after COVID-19, you introduced me to your business. So I worked there for a year, and then I left there. And
Which business is that?
It was a photography business, of course. After university, we couldn't get like the right kind of job that would give us the amount of money we wanted. So it was this kind of quick money we wanted, but it wasn't too much. The pay wasn't too much. So I left to Timishira, where I worked for that one to a year. So during my work with Timishira, then the passion for grad school started again.
But when did the Sweden application come in?
Yeah, so let me just see. So this is what happened.
Yeah.
When I was working with Mom Studios, I started to I had the passion to study abroad because I heard there was a lady way back in our department that went to abroad. I was like, oh, I was comparing myself to the lady. I was like, I'm good. And then looking at myself, I'm still in Ghana. I'm not pursuing my education. So why am I not pursuing my education? So I started to dig into the study abroad applications. And I went to Instagram. I saw a post about from this guy. I've forgotten his name. He was advertising for Sweden. So I decided to try the application. So the money I saved and all that, I paid people, went to classes and all that just to master one or two things. And I started to apply for the Sweden application. So Sweden was the first country I decided to apply to. So I applied to the Sweden scholarship. I've forgotten the full name. Yeah, the Sweden scholarship, of course. So I made the short list for the admission. That was for the admission, but the scholarship was a government scholarship. I didn't meet the government scholarship. I want to quickly talk about how I felt when I didn't make the scholarship.
Okay.
And then the application for Sweden, I think I did that in 2021. And then in 2021, I wanted to really move out of Ghana. Like it was something I wanted to leave Ghana because what I was going through financially and all that, it wasn't working for me. So I wanted to move out of Ghana. So I was doing everything possible. So I think on the 15th of April or 21st of April, the list for the scholarship came out, and then my name wasn't part of the list. I was so devastated. I think I was at work, and then I walked out of the office and I went home straight because I couldn't focus. Because I knew I would get the scholarship and then leave the country. And then I applied to Sweden because the scholarship application, they are taking care of your, what's it called, your plane ticket. In fact, they are paying everything for it. It's a fully funded scholarship. So I knew the kind of family I was coming from. My mother couldn't raise that amount of money for my plane ticket and all that. So I wanted to try the Sweden application. I didn't want to bother any family member to pay my plane ticket and all that, but it didn't go through for me. So I gave up. I didn't want to apply again. And then my next step was to go to Kofi Annan and then...
But wait. How did your parents feel? Or how did your mother, or how did they feel when you got to know that you couldn't make it?
So my application, I wasn't involving my mother that much. It was, I would just say, oh, I want to study, I want to have my master's. And then my mother is not really educated, so she doesn't understand what it means if you want to further your education abroad. All she cares about is you're wasting your money on applications. Why are you not using that money for other stuff? So that was the kind of friction between us. So I wasn't really just in it because she was more concerned with the money you're wasting and all that. And then my father is already not in the scene. I lost my father. So of course I sometimes talk to, I don't tell my mother so much because I feel like maybe she would discourage me. Yeah. So
can you
the first time I think the very day I lost the scholarship or I wasn't shortlisted for the scholarship, I called my mother on phone. I was like, I didn't make it. And she's like, there is more to do in Ghana. I don't know why you're so concerned and you want to move outside the country. When she said, I was like, this woman doesn't understand my dream. So that was it for me. I decided not to tell her anything about my education. Never again. So that was it for the Sweden application.
So can you recall the amount of money you spent on the Sweden application? Can you recall? It may be any rough.
Yeah. With the Sweden application, I want to thank a friend I have, Festus. Yeah. When I started the application, I didn't have a lot because I heard about the scholarship, I think 2 months before the deadline. So there was not a lot to do. And then my savings at that time wasn't too much. I think the application fee for the scholarship was 900 crowns, which was around 700, 900 cedis. The fact is, I was broke that time. And then the money I had was around 1,000 too. So if I paid that 900 crowns, then it's like I'm left with 400 Ghana cedis. Right, just for the application. And then because I wanted to win the scholarship, there are people that had gone through the application, then they wanted to help. But if they want to help you, they were charging an amount of money.
Okay.
And then I spoke to that friend of mine, and then I think he gave me about 700 CDs or 500 CDs to support me. So after investing that, we paid somebody to help us shape or proofread my write-up. I thought he was going to take everything and then rewrite or even like correct my write-up. It just gave me guidelines. I was like, if that's what he was going to do, I could have done it myself. So of course I wasted that money. And now I needed money to pay the application fee. It wasn't coming through. And I still went to that guy, Festus again. I think he gave me another money. Yeah, he supported me with my student application. One of the people that really supported me was Festus. Yeah.
Okay.
That was it.
Shout out to Festus. Okay, one
Yeah.
thing that I want to also know about the Sweden application is, did you, at a point, did you feel, or did you text the school, or did you email the school to find out why you weren't shortlisted or anything? Maybe
So
sometimes when you talk to the graduate coordinator, they can tell you why and all that. Did you do something like that?
so the Sweden application is totally different from US
Okay.
application.
Okay.
With the Sweden application, you apply through government.
Okay.
So unlike US, you can talk to graduate coordinators. With Sweden, when you talk to them, they have nothing to do. The only assurance you have is getting the admission. But with the scholarship, it's a government institution. So there is a different institution apart from the school institution in charge of the government institution.
Okay.
And so because I read film studies at my undergrad, I think I was trying to switch to media proper, right? Switch from media proper. So it was kind of difficult. I wanted to switch to geomedia. It was like geography and media combined. I was just challenging myself. I didn't want to restrict myself. So I tried geomedia, and then because the number of credit hours I took at my undergrad wasn't too much, they disqualified me for that course. You have the opportunity to apply to 4 courses. So they said my credit hours during my undergraduate level wasn't too much, so I was disqualified for that course. And I applied to communication, is it culture and something about communication? They also disqualified me because the IT content during my undergrad wasn't too much. And then there was this other program I applied to. So with Sweden, I was disqualified for 3 programs. So my chances of gaining admission in Sweden was very slim. So it was left with this other program, which was media technology, strategic media development. I think that's the name of the program. So that was my only chance. Right.
So
So
wait,
I was
with the courses that you mentioned, is it like you applied to one school with all these courses, or they were different schools where you had to apply to? Maybe take one course, you apply to, maybe if it's Malmo University, you apply to Malmo. If it's another university, you take another course and you apply. Did you do it like that, or it was like
so
one?
with student application, there's you have to diversify or whatever. You can't say you can apply to one school 2 times, right?
Okay.
Yeah, because you are required to choose you are required to select, I think, 4 programs. So it doesn't depend where you want to choose from. But I didn't want to choose from one school. I chose from different schools, right? I think I went to Soderton, the name of the school is Soderton University, and then I did one from Malmo University, and then there's another, I've forgotten the other 2 universities. So the school I got into was Malmo University. I was admitted to the media technology program, and it was exciting because that was my first time applying to an international school, and I got admission. I remember telling some of my program mates, they were so excited, and then it really inspired them because after university, COVID-19 broke, so most of them were like very relaxed. They hadn't tried. So when I tried, I told them, okay, so they all felt like, okay, then there is hope because maybe Eric has tried. So it really pushed a whole lot of people to also try. So with Sweden, I didn't apply to only Malmo University. I applied to other 3 universities, and I got admission to Malmo University. But because I didn't make the scholarship list, I couldn't pay for my admission. And so I had to defer for Malmo. So I closed my mind. I decided not to pursue my master's again. I wanted to stay in Ghana and work. I don't want to go back. Yeah, because who is going to pay for your admission? Who is going to
Yeah.
pay? And then the school fees was around 9 billion, I think. If
Mm,
yeah, so who is
Ghana
going to pay that
cedis.
amount of money? Yeah, nine. It was too
Okay, so
much.
what informed your decision to say, okay, I want to switch from film to the course that you want to do? What informed your decision? Why the change of mind? Yeah, to
Yeah.
switch.
I don't know. I'm that kind of person that always want to push myself. Yeah.
Mm,
I don't want to limit myself. And then I looked at the film industry in Ghana.
mm,
There was no hope.
yeah.
So our program has a content of communication, yeah, but it wasn't too deep because we take what is it called, television, right?
Mm,
So sometimes we teach people from communication, television, and media production and all that. So I feel like, okay, since I have that content in my film studies, why won't I switch? But I knew switching from film to communication would be very difficult because sometimes when you mention film, people don't understand what it entails. All they know is maybe it's just about movies, right? But it's all about media, it's all about communication.
mm,
So, and then I'm not that kind of person that I'm an introverted person. And then
mm,
working in the film industry means you have to make a lot of collaboration. So searching within myself, it will be very difficult for me collaborating. And then I'm not so good at meeting deadlines because I'm more of a perfectionist. I want to make sure that whatever I'm doing, I have to do it and do it right. So
mm,
meeting deadlines was kind of difficult for me because I have to always go back in time and like check if what I've done was okay. So looking at all those stuff, I'm like, okay, film wouldn't be like something I want to do if I really want to like be in that industry because I'm going to have problems with meeting deadlines. And of course, we've worked together. So I'll do the work for you perfectly, but I need a lot of time to do it well. Because
mm.
I don't like doing shady works and I want to do
Okay.
good works. And I was a good film student. So looking at that kind of background and then how quickly I want to make money, I had to switch. Because if you're looking at film, after creating the film, it has to go through the process, go to the market and all that. Even though things are changed, I was thinking about those kind of things. And then Ghana doesn't
Mm,
have the market. When am I going to blow? Where am I going to start from? And then, producers and directors are sometimes demanding. Sometimes you need to go head to head with them and all those kind.
mm.
I thought about all those stuff. I was like, okay, this is not going to help me. Then I had to shift from film to communication. Even though there were other programs I could have gone for, I think communication really like was a thing for me because I have heard of new technologies coming up. Yeah. So I wanted to switch to this communication technologies, explore those technologies, and then mm,
Okay. I think you've you have exhausted the Sweden conversation. So let's
yeah.
switch to US. Why you had to, forgo the Sweden ambition to chase US schools. So how did it
Yeah.
start for you? The US application. When did you start? What informed your decision? Um, how did it start for you? Yeah.
Right. So I told you earlier
Yeah.
when I didn't get the scholarship offer from
Mm,
Sweden,
mm,
I was completely out. Master's
mm.
degree wasn't like something I wanted to do. I wanted to focus on my work as an editor with Team Ishra like forever,
Okay.
right? And so I don't know what happened. I think when the admission process, when the US admission, the full admission began, I thought we
Mm,
had a conversation. Something like that happened, and then I wanted to try again. Right. But the reason why I was skeptical trying US again was going for a recommendation letter.
yeah.
People with Sweden, you don't need recommendation letter. Right. And then, like I said, I'm an introverted person. How am I going back? Even though I was a teaching assistant, I don't want to go back to school and then go and talk to a lecturer. I've heard stories where you get like those kind of forth and back. I don't want to do that stuff again.
Mm,
But the kind of work I was doing and then the kind of money I was receiving at the end of the month wasn't too much for me. The kind of money I was receiving wasn't too much for me. And then that was what like really picked me. That was what pushed me, because at the end of the month, the kind of money I was receiving was very low. I had family, and of course I was dating, right, at that time. And I had rent,
Allah,
so
Allah.
I had rent, so the responsibilities was too much. So looking at it, I was like, the only way to get out of this is to go back to school. Yeah, so I really thought about it. The kind of stress I was going through. Sometimes your boss will call you around 8 p.m. and then you edit throughout the night, 1 a.m. You are editing. I was going through stress. I was doing the hard work, but the kind of money I was making wasn't enough. And then I had my first degree. So why should I sit? Right. So then I decided to go back to school. And then I'm a very religious person. So I've gone to churches where I'd received prophecies that, oh, you, what is it called? Pursue your master's degree, but where do I start from? What kind of school am I applying to? And I've heard stories about US, and a lot of people apply to US, the denial rates, and all that. So I was thinking about it, but I think I had the courage to go back to, what's it called, my alma mater, UCC. I spoke to my advisor, who I was working with during my teaching assistant time, and then he gave me the go ahead that yeah, he can talk to some professors for me to give me the recommendation quickly. So I didn't apply on time. I think I applied in February when admissions were getting to a close.
February
So
2023.
yes, February 2023. And then with my school, Northern Illinois University, the deadline for the application I think was on 1st February.
Okay.
And then I applied 31st of January 2023. It was a difficult one, but I did that because I don't know if because I trust myself, my instinct I was going to get the admission also. I don't know, but I was so skeptical. I was torn between going.
Okay, wait. Let's go back. So during your application, your US application, the schools that you applied to, can you mention the schools?
I applied to only 2 schools.
Okay.
Because I applied to the 2 schools because I don't have enough money.
Enough money. Okay.
Yes.
So the word is
Yeah,
enough
because
money.
applying to US schools means you need a lot of money.
So around that time, it wasn't about recommendation, it was about money.
Yes. I applied to the 2 universities because of money. But I was skeptical to come back to school because I'll go back and go and ask for recommendation. You know, that kind of go and come, and all those stuff. So yeah. But I applied to the 2 universities because of what's it called?
So what were the requirements for Northern Illinois?
Yeah, no, of course you need a transcript.
Yeah.
You need what's it called? They were requesting for GRE, but I had 3.0 and above, so it was waived. And then I mentioned transcript, right? So recommendation, statement of purpose.
Okay.
And then the CV was optional, right? But sometimes they say optional, but it's a tricky one. I turned in my CV, so of course. So that was what they needed. Yeah. So they needed a recommendation, transcript, statement of purpose, GRE, but the GRE was waived because I had 3.0 and above.
Okay. Yeah, guys, I hope you are enjoying the conversation. Yeah, we are talking to Eric Esiedu from Ghana, Shama Boga. Yeah, Charlie. So this is the first part of the conversation. We'll come back to the second part. So stay tuned and subscribe to the channel. See ya. Peace out.